couple of questioners, please. Councillor McIntosh.
Well, the first impression is that there isn't a lift by hearing your letter. So that impression's wrong.
That was trimmed, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I read your letter a week ago and I thought, oh my goodness, there's no lift. So later in your letter, you say there is a lift.
I apologize
Correct?
if that wasn't clear, but yes.
It's not clear at all. And again, tonight when you read it, it sounds like the only option to get on that bus is 4 stairs.
4 stairs, yes.
But it's not the only option. There is a lift.
Never to this date seen someone who cannot navigate the stairs, who is not in a wheelchair or some other scooter, ask for the lift to be deployed. Never.
But the option exists if it's clearly made, the community is made aware that there's a lift, correct?
Correct. Of course, then there's the additional time, the 5 minutes loading,
You know
5
what?
minutes unloading.
Anyone who's got a disability, and I happen to have a disability, we really get quite determined. And we don't worry about 5 minutes here or there. And I know that seniors are very determined. And if they're using a walker and they need to go on a lift, they will ask. They're not in as much of a hurry to go from point A to B as you and I might be, usually, right? Because we're in this technological area where you have to have your cell phone attached to your ear and you got to get to here to there within 3 minutes or less. Seniors don't work that way. They're actually quite happy if there's a lift and they can use it, they will ask for it. So I want to be clear that there's still that option for them. Is that right?
Well, there's 2 points to that. The first is these routes are not exclusively used by seniors, but more importantly, TransLink made a big deal when the new trolley buses were introduced in Vancouver that we have low floor service, fully low floor service, that makes it easier for those with disabilities and seniors to load.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very big deal. But here, they're not willing to look at that option for the community shuttle program, even though the buses do exist around the world.
But you're not making it clear that the option for a disabled person to get on the bus exists. It might take a couple more minutes, but the option exists with a lift.
Okay.
Right?
And if the bus is completely off schedule and the seniors at the next stop a few blocks down are left waiting for an extra 20 minutes.
I don't believe that in a community shuttle will take that long.
It does. Come on down and ask them to deploy the lift one day, and you'll see that.
But it's an option that's available.
An option, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Osterman, please.
Thank you, Worship. Matthew, thank you for coming. Good presentation. What can we do to help besides?
Well, we just want council to endorse this letter we've sent to show that the City of New Westminster supports the idea that this is something they should examine in the future, that they should look at for when they next replace these buses, to look at what is available around the world, because this decision was made originally a decade ago as a policy decision. Well, I don't know if I want to get into politics of this, but it was basically a McCallum-Puel decision because it was the simplest way to contract out the service.
Okay, one question, please, is I know we had a situation many years ago, this type of situation in Queensborough. We had a child who was disabled getting to school in a wheelchair. One of the mechanisms we did there, and I know, Jim, I think it was before your time, way before your time, we actually had to build up the podium where you catch the bus to reduce the gap to where actually the little lift came down. Is there anything we can do on Quayside where these buses come? Because very often for seniors, anybody with a bad leg or bad hips, is that initial first step upward onto a bus to grab hold of the handrail is half the battle. Is there any way through the podium where you'd be gaining the bus? I don't know what the distance is from the level of the sidewalk to the first step. Can we look at modifications to the sidewalks or anything that would make things easier?
I again invite you down to see it's actually not the first step that's even the problem. It's actually the steps on the buses which are larger than the one from the sidewalk to the bus.
Okay. Have you measured
and
the
another issue
size
with
of
the
the
lifts.
steps, Matthew?
Hmm?
Have you measured the size of the steps?
I actually have not done that, but
Because
there
my
are photos.
curiosity is the size of the steps consistent with the BC Building Code.
That's a very good point.
If they're not, no, but seriously, if the steps are not
I can believe
consistent
it
with the
might not
BC Building Code in pitch and step, then it would be recognized that we wouldn't even build a building to those standards for people trying to get upwards. So if you could help us more research there.
I'll look into the research
and
there, yes.
we will look
And
them to the rest with contacting BC Transit on your concerns.
And the other issue with the lifts, which now that I've been asked, I can bring up, is these lifts also add weight, take away passenger space, which burns more fuel. And also there's the issue they are frequent to break down. They are very frequent to break down. And if that happens when you're actually loading or unloading, it stalls the bus. And at the worst case, a passenger can be stuck on the bus if it breaks down when you're trying to unload a wheelchair. So these aren't actually very sturdy lifts to begin with. And that you can ask any CAW driver about that. That's why they were phased out on the D40 line of buses when they ordered the new buses that were low floors.
Councillor Harper, please.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Matthew. Just a couple of questions. Number one is the request to have another kind of a low-rise bus is a regular bus, is it not? It's not another community shuttle. There's another.
Look at it again on the website. There's pictures. They came
I
in
haven't seen the
every
website, huh?
shape and size, and
Sorry?
they come in every shape and size. They can look like a standard bus, just be really
No, but
short.
what's your request? I'm trying to figure out
Well,
what your
we
request
want
is.
we want to keep
Like you're
this-
asking us to support
yes,
something,
we want
and I'm
the
trying to
Quayside
clarify
Community
that.
Board at our meeting in June. I'm sorry it took this long for me to finish the research on this, but at our meeting in June, we decided that we wanted to keep smaller buses. They fit in better with the community, and they fit in with what we want, and with TransLink's own goals of the community shuttle program, we would just like them more accessible for seniors so that seniors can rapidly get on and off. They don't have to worry about if the lift is operating or not.
So you're asking for a low-rise shuttle then?
Yes, please.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Okay.
I think also what you're asking for, Matthew, is that it's the next tranche of purchases that they do.
Yes,
Because I
please,
know that is one of the situations. So, Mr. Lowry, you'll look into that with the TransLink people. It has been a great discussion, quite frankly.
Okay,
And
that's good to know.
I don't know what the results is because it's now another board that's doing it. So we will follow it through.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.